Today's guest is Jennifer Wilkerson. She's the VP of Innovation and Advancement at NCCER. Jennifer, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great. I know you've been in and around construction training, I guess certification for a very long time. Tell me what you are involved in.
Sure. So I work for the National Center for Construction Education and Research. I've been here for 15 years. Um, and really what we do is we're a nonprofit organization and really our mission is to improve people's lives through construction education. And obviously that rolls into helping the growth of our industry, the construction industry. So we develop curriculum for 45 different trades. When we started out in 1996, there were five, it was like welding, HVAC, carpentry, electrical, those basic ones. And it's just grown because we are created by the industry. And so we followed that lead with them. But not only did they want us to develop curriculum that could be used in an apprenticeship style or it could just be used as needed training, they also wanted to make sure that there was a place for someone to go and validate somebody's training, like did they go through this? Because we know that's difficult. Somebody leaves one company and they go somewhere else, and the company may have some assessments or something to give to them, but we wanted to make sure that the credentials were portable. And it was important for us to create true credentials. So NCCR became an accrediting body. So when somebody wants to not only purchase the curriculum, which they can do without going through any other process, but if they want to provide credentials, they apply and we make sure they have the resources. They send someone to go through a train the trainer, if you will, to make sure that it's done consistently. So when someone gets a pipe fitter credential from NCCR for a particular skill set, they know what that means because we're making sure there's consistency in the training across the board. And those are really important. People, even if somebody wants to start training somewhere, maybe they went to a community college and they started the program and now they're going to go somewhere else. Maybe it's a contractor that offers NCCR training. It's very easy for them to slip into where they left off on their training from the last place they were.
Got it, got it. You verify the sort of the education, but it sounded like you were also training people to deliver these trainings. I know they're online, but I'm assuming these are delivered in person as well.
They are. And I mean, originally that's all it was, right? Like originally it was just print books and people stand and deliver. So our program, our full accreditation includes teacher certification. So we actually, NCCR doesn't do the teaching ourselves. We create all the product, all the resources, everything for everyone else to do that. So we train them. And whether nowadays you can do that online, you can do hybrid, there's so many things you can do, but we do train organizations to do that training themselves.
Got it. And I think I know why you went that way, but there must have been some talk about you having your own people and going out. Why did you know why the organization took that approach of just really focus on one aspect of it and with others delivering the training?
I think really it was, we're, like I said, we're the accrediting body. So we wanted to separate ourselves from the people actually delivering it. We wanted to be able to spend our resources and time on truly developing quality curriculum and lesson plans and PowerPoints and anything else that a trainer or a teacher would need and originally in their classrooms, with the books and everything. And so we knew it would be more scalable if we were able to empower other people to do that training in a consistent manner than us trying to hire a bunch of people and sending them out. And I think the people that do it appreciate that because you can also add, if you're a company and you're using NCCR, you can add your training in there. Maybe you have some company specific stuff that you like to ingrain while you're teaching pipe fitting or welding or carpentry or whatever it is. It really allows them to kind of personalize and customize that training to fit their company.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And when you're developing a new area, because you're in all these different sort of trades now, how does that process work? Do you partner with people? Do you hire people in? What does that look like?
Sure. So we have instructional designers, we have technical writers, we have product managers and program managers, and so we do that part of it. What we do is we engage subject matter experts. So it was really important for us not to have a single author. So it was one person's insight or interpretation of how something should be done. So from the very beginning when we were started, those original companies said, we will share our experts with you. You capture it, you write it, you get it out there, but we want to make sure that it's not any there's no restrictions by geography, there's no restrictions by a certain company. And so we are very blessed to have an incredible network of subject matter experts that when we go to update something, we kind of do an all call, who's available, we're starting to update this. And very graciously, these companies, because of the importance of the training and the credentials, they actually pony up subject matter experts to spend quite a bit of time with us going back through the curriculum, the objectives. But again, we utilize them for the expertise in the field. We develop education, and that's what our expertise is creating these programs. So we don't, although we have a lot of people here and even our CEO comes from industry, what we really try to do is bring industry and education development together, and then come out with a quality product.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're developing these things, do you have a sense of how long the material should be, or how comprehensive? Uh, are they different on each one? Like, are some longer than others? Like, how do you think through that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So from the very beginning, we wanted to make sure that it could be used for apprenticeships. And the way that the apprenticeship programs work, for us to be recognized by the DOL Office of Apprenticeship, what you have to do is you have to make sure that every year someone completes a minimum of 144 classroom hours, meaning learning the knowledge. And then they do the on the job training, which is another 2,000 hours. So you have that, you're in the field, but at the same time, you have that learning. So when we started developing this, and again, although not everyone uses it in that style of a multi year training program, we wanted to make it where they could if they needed to. So we do develop our curriculum. Typically, it's a 4-year program. So you have 144 classroom hours each year. And so we divide them in levels. So we'll have a level one, that's year one. Level two, that's year two. Now, certainly people can mix and match if they want to, but if they are looking for a program that's already developed in that format, then it works great because NCCR, we already met all the standards and everything that the time requirements is what they call them. And the other reason that we develop like this, when we originally developed, we were not really thinking about schools using us. We were really thinking about industry and doing it for industry. But what we found out as we grew and we started working with high schools and colleges and correctional facilities, that structured program works really well for them because if you have a carpentry class in high school, you're kind of looking at, I have this much time with my students to teach something. So it's very helpful that it's broken down in a very defined structure like that.
Yeah, yeah, for
I
sure.
will I will say we do have a few programs that are maybe not 4 levels. 4 levels has been the standard, but we do have some programs when they come out, you don't really need 4 years to do that. So our solar photovoltaic, it's not a 4-year program because you don't need that. And some of our other ones, our roofing, our HEO, there may be some that are a different amount, and that's based on what the industry needs. That's based on the industry telling us these are all the objectives, all the competencies that you need to put in there because what we'll do with the industry is we'll do a job task analysis. And what we want to know is what do you do as a pipe fitter on a daily basis? What are all the tasks you have to do? And we start putting them together and we go, okay, which ones are critical? Which ones are important? And you start building this out when you start a curriculum and you realize, how long that curriculum is going to be. And then when you match it with the DOL Office of Apprenticeship time requirements, then it kind of structures itself almost.
Yeah. So with all these programs, which are the most popular? Like the couple that are the most popular out of all the ones you offer?
So the most popular, and it's a lot of this is because so many schools use us now, and so many community colleges and everything. HVAC, carpentry, electrical, plumbing, and welding are our top craft areas, our top trades. We do have one curriculum that's called our core curriculum, and what it's for is it's really the first one. If you're just introducing construction to someone, that is a curriculum that has basic safety, intro to power tools, intro to hand tools, intro to construction math, to construction drawings, to employability skills. So it's like this building block. We call it our core curriculum because when someone's starting out, they start there and then they can determine which trade they want to go into. But our top five are the ones that probably most people would think of.
Yeah, for the schools, are they coming to you? Is there significant coordinated outreach? What's happening there?
So really, we started outreaching to schools, obviously in the early 2000s, and really what happened was the shortage that we continue to see. Like, how do you build that talent pipeline? And in order to build that type of talent pipeline, you have to get people interested at a younger age. And so we started going out and outreaching to the school and showing the programs. And what has happened through the years is, schools have Perkins funding, which is federal funding for career and technical education programs. And what they have to have is, in order to get that funding, you have to have industry recognized credentials. You have to have a structured program. You have to have all the components that NCCR has. There's a lot of others that have it too, but NCCR fits very nicely into that. So as schools expand and they want career and technical education, they'll reach out to us and want to use that. Now, I will tell you, there's not as much funding for career and technical education as there is for higher ed or AP classes and stuff, although we're fighting for it. We work with a lot of associations that would really like to see more money come into career tech ed. But what we've done recently in the past year and a half is we knew a lot of schools couldn't afford to do that. We started this high school builder program that for schools that have never done it and they just want to get their feet wet and maybe it's their first time. We've made it much easier, and we have had some wonderful organizations sponsor those schools and pay so that those schools could open up a construction program, which is just amazing when they have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And from the exposure from the school, what sort of like continuation have you seen? Like, I don't know if you can track any of that or whatnot, because I know the constant, thing is how do we get more people into the construction trade?
Yeah, it really is. So we will know if there's any type of articulation, like if you have some that start we see a lot more of this. So let me start with this. We see a lot more states where their high schools have NCCR and their community college has NCCR, which is a really nice continuation. But the other great thing is if someone doesn't want to go to community college and they just want to go into industry, as I said, we have a network of contractors that teach it. We also have Associated Builders and Contractors and Associated General Contractors, which are the two largest construction industry associations. And they work with us. And so they actually get accredited and they have instructors. And so they can continue that too. I will say we obviously need more people coming in it. And the concern that we have and what we've really been trying to do is early on connect while these students are still in high school with contractors that are willing to hire less experienced people. So we actually have a career starter tool that allows these schools teachers to encourage their kids. We have lesson plans for it. Tell them to get in there, build a profile for themselves. What are they studying in high school? Kind of build all this out. And then we have contractors that come in and they kind of advertise their jobs. We ask them only advertise if you are willing to advertise, hire an inexperienced person, someone that's maybe just gone through the classes but they haven't worked. So the jobs that they post have to be for jobs that require less than a year of experience. And we're really starting to see more connections happen there. We see more and more contractors realizing that they have to play the long game too. In the past, they just wanted someone, I got this project and I have to fill these positions and we have a time frame. That's great, but we made a big mistake as an industry, not really, really reaching out years and years and years, decades ago and starting these programs, because we have a lot of contractors now that are super involved with schools. I just wish we would have started 20 years earlier, would have been great.
Yeah, I guess, in the busyness of day to day, the failure of looking long term leads to like inconsistent results. Have the people that have been involved for a little bit now seeing kind of the results of like investing upfront in
Yeah.
terms of having enough people and retention, all that stuff?
Yeah, we see the most progressive contractors are absolutely doing it. They're very connected to the high schools. They're very connected to the community colleges. They have their recruiters work directly with the community colleges that have skilled trades programs, construction skilled trades program. Um, and again, I see more and more. I think it's a really good thing. We have more contractors than ever that are committing to uh, sponsoring their local schools, working with their local schools, participating in Career Starter or participating in continuing the education with those schools. So we're trying. The problem is everybody's vying for these same students, right? And so we have to make our industry appealing uh, for them. And so we do a lot here at NCCR too. We have a Build Your Future program, and it's really our career awareness, like letting students get in and they get to take a quiz. Would I be a good carpenter, a welder, pipe fitter? And it lets them play around and it lets them kind of build a career pathway and see some videos of what does that mean to be a carpenter. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to get in. So we spend a lot of time doing things like that. One of the hard things that's happening right now is the construction industry. For every 5 people leaving our industry, only one is coming in. So and the average age is 46 plus of these craft professionals that are in the skilled trades. So it's scary because if we look at that workforce, by 2025 they're saying about 25% of the current skilled craft professionals in the field are going to be retiring, 32% by 2028. Those are scary numbers. And I think what's happening is the industry had a wake up of, holy cow, we have to do something about this. And so we do see these connections, and we see students, because that was the problem, is even if they had a program in high school, there was no contractor that was taking them, right? There was no one willing to hire them. They didn't know what to do. I got out of high school, I don't even know where to go or who to talk to. So that's what we've really been hyper focused on in recent years, is like, how do we help them make that connection, so that they don't, well, I did it in high school and I loved it, but I don't know where to go now. So contractors have to keep that in mind all the time. When I go out and talk to contractors, I tell them, I'm like, are you recruiting them from high schools? If they tell me they're not, I'm like, do you not have a shortage? Oh no, we have a shortage. I'm like, okay, what's the closest high school to you? What's the community college to you? And then they'll tell me, they're like, but I don't know how to get involved. I don't know what to say. I'm like, go throw a teacher luncheon. Tell them, hey, look, we just want to come and talk to your school and make you aware that we're an employer right down the road. We're looking for skilled people. And I said, there isn't any school or any teachers that are going to refuse a free lunch. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, and you have sort of the materials and things to sort of support that conversation.
Absolutely. We provide, and that's all free of charge. We're a nonprofit. We just want it to be out there. So our Build Your Future, we have all kinds of PowerPoints. And if somebody's like, I want to go in and talk to these kids, but I don't know what to say or do, we put it on the website. Use this. This is what you should do. Talk about these things, and we provide it for them.
Great. What other sort of innovation or interesting things do you see in the construction industry around this that's working?
Um, So around specifically with recruiting, I would say when I think about, I see, we have that tool, but I see a lot of other things that the industry are doing, even with their social media, the things that they're starting to do to try to meet students where they are. There are more contractors and more than I would ever imagine, really getting out there on Instagram, really getting out there on any type of social media to get in front of them. I've seen TikToks where they're doing talking about that. And I think that's really important because for a long time, construction was a little removed from that. And I think recently I'm seeing more of them hiring social media people, hiring young recruiters, trying to make sure that they're saying the right thing and they're getting in front of those students where they're at. You have to meet them where they're at, because they're not out looking for you because they don't even know about you, right? So you have to go where they are and tell them. Here's the thing that I think that's really interesting about construction. We have a younger generation that's really, they're very concerned about impact. They want to have an impact on their community. They want to help people. And for too long, the construction industry did not talk about the way that they help people. We build the hospitals, we build the schools, we go in and build the community centers. When something happens with a natural catastrophe, we go and rebuild. And I think that those are the kind of things, and I've seen us do a better job of that, of telling our stories, how we help people. And you can be a part of that team that goes in and help people by learning these skilled trades. And I'll tell you what the great thing is lately. I don't know if you've seen the Wall Street Journal put out the article about the tool belt generation. And it's talking about how they have more people than ever in this generation that's coming up that are interested in exploring the skilled trades. Maybe it's automotive, maybe it's construction, maybe it's, but they're seeing that there are a lot of options. You can go to college if you want. That's fantastic. You absolutely should. But we also have to talk about all these other options that are available that are great paying jobs, that are careers that have all the training you need. You can move up through that and, start as a craft professional, be a foreman, be a field engineer, be an assistant superintendent, be a super, or own your own business, right? Like you can, construction is absolutely a area in which you can start on your tools and own your own business. So I think the innovative thing, it's more about us being out there and talking to them and telling the right story to the people, the young people, to, and even to veterans, and even to single moms, and even to correctional facilities. I always think of the construction industry as the second chance industry. We are willing to work, train, and help hire people that are serious about getting a second chance.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned second chance. What do those programs look like?
So we actually have a lot of correctional facilities that use our program exactly like it's set up. And it's beautiful because, again, for a correctional facility, they need it to be structured. They need to have all the lesson plans, all the resources available. Um, and so what's so great about it is they like our program, because what happens is, the people for a certain amount of time are in the correctional facilities, but when they get out, guess what? They have an NCCR industry recognized credential that people know what that means. And so that's what makes it so nice. I'll tell you, we a while back we got a letter from a gentleman that wrote, and he said that he had been in and out of prison, and he had gone to prison in Texas, and they had an NCCR welding program. And he said, I did that program and I got out and I got a job as an iron worker. And he actually sent us a letter with pictures. He said, I've been all over the United States now, doing incredible jobs, building great stuff, and supporting my family because of what I got. Even while I was in prison, I had the opportunity to train. And, I just think those are the stories you live for, right? Like that's what you want to know, that you help people do those things. We have some construction career academies right now where we're working with the Lowe's Foundation, and they have been so incredible of supporting these construction career academies where we're going into the socioeconomic challenged areas, and we're starting these 6, 8 weeks academies to help people use their hands, learn a trade, get out there and start building a community. And it's just wonderful. It's just fantastic to help those people. And some of them will tell us, I never knew I was going to be able to do something like this. I have women that talk about it, how, you know, I'm so proud of what I do now. I can share it with my kids and tell them. And that's fantastic.
That's great. So many different things. Is
Yeah,
there
right.
anything that I haven't asked you but you want to share?
Well, I would just say this, one of the things about construction that maybe a lot of people don't know is there are 8 million people in the construction industry, employees. There's 8 million people. That's a lot of people. They put a little over $2 trillion of structures in place a year. And the reason that this industry also is so important, that I don't know if people realize, but as of June 27th, 2024, the construction industry contributed 4.5% to the United States GDP. So that's a huge industry. And I guess I say that, and it's important because this industry helps support our economy. This industry is very important to the United States economy. And so that's just one more reason. Not only is there a great opportunity for teamwork and camaraderie and people that don't want to be in an office all day, diverse jobs that they can do, cool things, but it's also an important industry simply because of what we provide, to our country.